everybody, and welcome to another Sunset Safari. I want to just very quickly welcome the schools: Henry Birkland Elementary, All Saints, a Catholic Academy, as well as Hampstead Academy. So welcome to the three schools that will be joining us this afternoon. But my name is, of course, Taylor McCurdy, and on camera with me today is Craig, aka Batman. And hopefully we're going to see a whole lot of animals this afternoon. But before we start our search for the elephants, just remember, for those of you who are new and have just started watching Safari Live, of course, a big welcome to you. For the next 45 minutes, we're going to be dedicating our questions to the three schools that are joining us today. But you can still hashtag Safari Live with any of your questions on Twitter, and we will get back to them a little bit later. Now, for all of you wonderful children who are watching us this afternoon, I saw a really big elephant just a moment ago, and I came racing around the corner. You may have seen me racing past Ellie during the pre-show because he was coming in this direction. I have a suspicion, though, he is using a big animal pathway that just goes in front of us, just over here, and I think he's on his way to a big dam. So I think if we turn around, we might have a chance of seeing him, because elephants are my absolute favorite animal in the entire world. They are, well, the biggest land mammal to start off with, and they're also so intelligent. And this particular elephant that I'm hoping to show you had covered himself in a whole lot of mud. He put his sun cream on, which is very important when you're in the harsh African sun. You've got to layer up to help protect your skin. And even something like an elephant that's got leathery skin even has to cover himself in sunscreen. But now I think we have to play the patience game and try and figure out where exactly he's going to come out. That's always one of the most difficult things to try and do when you are driving around looking for animals on safari, is to try and anticipate their movements and get in the right spot. So if you look very carefully just down over there in the distance, that's the dam that I was telling you about. It's quite far away from us still, but it's just over there. You can see there's a little rise in sort of like a little hill, and just below that there's lovely fresh water for that elephant would like to drink. So he's somewhere around here. Now, I'm just trying to think, Craig. I don't know where he's going to actually pop out. It's such a big area that we don't have any roads in. He could honestly be anywhere. But maybe we should go back that way. Well, I've got a bit of deciding to do here to try and find this elephant, and myself and Craig are going to work very hard to try and show it to you. But I think it's time that I send you across to my dear friend Ellie so she can say hello.
Well, thank you, dear friend Taylor. I do want to say hello to everyone around here. I hope you guys are having just a wonderful and warm afternoon as we are. We're busy looking at an impala over there that's just hiding in between all of the grass. A warm welcome as well to all the schools that are watching us today. We have three schools joining us on Drive: the Hampstead Elementary, All Saints Catholic Elementary or Academy, and then the Henry Birkland Elementary. So welcome, guys. I hope you guys are excited to see one of the very, very, very famous African animals. My name is Ellie, and on camera here with me doing a fantastic work, we've got Seb, just pointing us into the direction where the impala were. As with all the animals, they have now decided that they're feeling a bit shy. So we're gonna go slightly forward, see if maybe we can see them again. Lots of little things happening around here, lots of birds moving around. Antelope, oh, there's a bird that flew away. Let's see if maybe we can see it over here. This is quite an interesting bird. I don't know if you can see it there just on the branch. So I'm sure if you've heard of safaris in South Africa or in Southern Africa, when everyone comes, they want to see the big five. So the big five are very big animals, and they are the elephant, the rhino, the lion, the leopard, and the buffalo. And that little bird flying away there, there we go. That is actually part of the small five. So like we've got the big five ones, we've got smaller creatures, in this case this bird, that have the name of one of the big five in their name. In this particular case, this pretty bird is called the red-billed buffalo weaver. Red-billed buffalo weaver. Obviously, you know, this is the buffalo of the small farm. It seems like there's a group around here just feeding on the seeds on the ground, just looking for something to eat. And it's quite nice to see them, because I normally just see them flying away and they're not this relaxed with us. Ah, there they go. You see, I jinxed us. Not a problem, we shall carry on looking for new friends. Let's see what else we can find, shall we? John, you'd like to know what season we're in. So because we are in the southern hemisphere, our seasons are opposite to you guys in, you know, North America and the northern hemisphere. So right now we are going into winter. So if you have a look around me and you see everything surrounding the car, everything looks very, very yellow, very dry. So we are going into winter, and winter is also the dry season here in this part of South Africa. So as the time goes by, all the trees that you see with pretty leaves around, like this one in front of me and the grass, everything's going to dry out and it's going to become either more yellow or the trees are going to lose their leaves. I know that it sounds very, very crazy because I'm wearing short sleeves right now, but I promise you I was wearing 4 different sweaters this morning because I was so cold. But luckily for us, the temperature is not as bad during the day. We are at 77 Fahrenheit, if I'm not mistaken, right now, or 25 degrees Celsius, so it's quite a nice afternoon. Good to go look for animals around, because I'm sure they're all feeling like they can still move around a little bit. And then in November, that's when our rainy season is going to start, and that's roughly where we start transitioning back into spring and then summer. Although spring and autumn are seasons that I don't really think exist down here, because we go from dry to wet, or the other way around. Ooh. And in this particular area, we don't really get snow in winter. Thankfully, otherwise it would be too cold. We do get sometimes in the mornings in the middle of winter, if it's very, very, very cold, especially if you're close to a river, frost and, you know, ice just on top of all the plants and the grass. Makes it very cold for all of us, I can tell you. Alright, let's see if we can find some more impala on our road. I'm sure they'll be around here. They're normally quite friendly and I'm sure they want to come and say hello. We hope so. Otherwise, there was a lot of lion activity this morning around this area, so they could just still be a bit shy in case they heard them roaring. They could have just gone somewhere else and just left the area temporarily. Because, well, you know, when the lion roars, nobody really wants to be around. Except us humans, because then we try to get here because we really want to see them. Let's see. I don't know. Evangelina, you'd like to know what kind of birds we've got around here. We've got I'm stuck now. We've got quite a different array of birds, so we've got pretty much everything. I can give you just like a general overlook or what type of birds we've got. So this is a guide of birds and it gives us the general group of birds that we've got around here. So we've got everything from penguins that you can see up here at the top, and those ones you'll find around Cape Town and just the southern part of South Africa. And then we've got pretty much everything else. So we've got very pretty colorful birds. This one's over here. Some of them eat seeds, some of them eat grass, and then we've got some others that eat little insects like the starlings around here. Pretty much all of these ones around here. And then we've got some very, very beautiful with very striking colors like the rollers and the bee eaters and the kingfishers. And then we've got bigger birds like the owls around here. Also, we've got lots of owls around here, very, very pretty. A lot of birds that live around waterways. All of these ones like the cranes, the stilts, the jacanas. And then we've got, I'm sure you've seen at some point, the guinea fowl. Very, very common around this area. We actually saw some this morning. And then lots of little, what's the name? Little, birds that eat other birds. Raptors. Thank you. I'm sorry. My words are escaping. So lots of little raptors and big raptors. And eagles, and then vultures, the ones that go and scavenge and eat what the other animals have eaten. So you see, we've got quite a number of different species, very colorful, very different ones. And not all of the ones that we're seeing here we can find in this area. Some of them we find in certain parts of South Africa, some of them we find in some other areas of South Africa. But in general, around this area we see maybe about 400 different species of birds. Depends on, you know, where exactly you are. So lots and lots of birds. As a matter of fact, it takes a very long time, and you have to be very quick using your binoculars and the guide, just and a book guide like the one that I've got here, just to be able to identify all the different species of birds. Because like I said, we've got lots, and it's a very nice pastime just to sit there maybe and wait at a water hole and see all the different things that you can do. Especially if you start traveling all around the country, then you start going to areas because like, oh, I can see a bird here that I can't see over here. So lots of different ones. The one, if you were watching earlier, the red-billed buffalo weaver, quite a common bird, and it's one of the ones that we see often around here. So very, very pretty one. In the meantime, while we carry on searching for impala, let's go over to Brent, all the way from the Masai Mara, that would like to say hello with a very big friend.
Smith, I have Dangerous Dave Eastor on camera, and we are live from the Mara Triangle in Kenya, and we're sitting with this lovely little elephant bull, and he's very relaxed, and he's been munching on some creepers as well as grass. It almost looks like a type of wild asparagus. I can't get a closer look, otherwise I'd have to remove it from his jaws, and I don't think he would take too kindly to that. Now, I know Ellie was chatting about the weather a little bit earlier. In general, well, in general, we are probably sitting in the only spot that is not being rained on at the moment, and hopefully it'll continue. We are surrounded probably 340 degrees, not quite 360. There's one gap sort of over this side where there's no rain, but that's not where we get our rain from. We get our rain from there, and I can actually see there's some rain coming in right above us. Hopefully it stays away for the duration of this afternoon safari. Now, of course, if you want to ask us questions, you can do that by using the hashtag SafariLive, just like Alessandra has done. Alessandra would like to know, why does an elephant have a trunk? Well, Alessandra, it's sort of, why do we have an opposable thumb? It is a tool. They've evolved this tool to enable them to feed much more easily. And there are over 100,000 muscles and tendons in an elephant's trunk, and they have a prehensile tip that enables them to pick up the smallest and daintiest of things. But you can also see how they use it to wrap around the grass, and you can see, there we go, wrap, and pull, yum yum, Thermida, all the Thermida for me. Now, of course, the elephants are really loving this luscious grass, and that is the rainy season's bounty. And of course, soon as the great migration arrives, they're going to move away from the grasslands to get away from all those pesky wildebeests. Gersiram would like to know, why is an elephant grey? Now, that is a very, very interesting question. Now, elephants are one of the only animals that are active throughout the heat of the day, and as we know, dark colours tend to absorb heat, whereas light colours tend to dispel heat. So one would think that an elephant being grey would be a disadvantage because they are active during the heat, but they do have another interesting adaptation, is that they are one of the only mammals that's testes are on the inside. So most mammals' testes are on the outside, and that's to control temperature of the semen in terms of being able to breed. Now, if we have a look at an elephant, so let me just put my finger in here. There we go. I'm getting used to this monitor. There we go. An elephant's testes are right there, right above, just below that sort of arcing bone in its back. And that's one of the reasons that the dark color isn't such an issue for them, is that they don't need to control that the temperature of their testes. Also, their ears. They've got those wonderful big ears that can have up to 8 liters of blood in them at one time, and as they flap, you can see those large blood vessels behind the ears. They are able to cool down that blood and therefore cool down their body temperature. And so that is one of the reasons. But the grey colour, they actually evolved from marine mammals, and you probably find with those other adaptations they haven't had to haven't had to change colour since coming out of the ocean. Hello, Sarah. Sarah would like to know how heavy is an elephant. Well, he's not too big a bull. I'd say he probably weighs about 3.5 to 4,000 kilograms. A really big adult elephant bull can weigh up to about 7,000 kilograms, 7 tons. Average weight on a female is about 3,000. So they are very heavy, the heaviest land mammal in the world. We've also got some giraffe across the open plains of the Mara. You see them there, Dave?
I see them.
Here we go, a tipple skirchy, well, a Maasai giraffe. Oh, and we can see, is that our camp in the background? It is too.
It is, huh?
Yes, there we go. That's our camp in the background up there. That's where we're all going to live. That's final control in the front. And you can see our tents off to the right and the kitchen off way to the left. But now back to the giraffe, Dave.
Yes.
So there we go. These are Maasai giraffes, so they're slightly different from the giraffe that we would get down in the Kruger Park and in Djuma. They have a slightly different pattern on their bodies. And they are very beautiful. And at the moment, look, there we go. That's quite interesting. You see the one on the left. It always looks like the giraffe here are eating grass, even though we know they don't eat grass. They eat leaves. Now, but it often looks like they're eating grass because they're feeding off small bushes, various different types that grow in the long grass. I heard some knocking behind me. Did you hear that, Dave?
Yes.
Tuk, 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 tuk. I'll see if it happens again. There we go. Oh, and there's some buffalo way in the distance. Behind the giraffe, way in the distance. Oh, I think... Where are my binoculars? Let us see where this knocking is coming from, David. Let's. Oh dear, I've got caught my monitor on my binocular strap. There we go, that's all sorted. I think it is coming from this dead tree behind you, David. I'm hoping there's a woodpecker there, because woodpeckers are really interesting birds. Okay, I'm looking with my binoculars because I think that's where the sound's coming from. There are a few dead trees there, and I'm hoping it's going to be... But I can't see him now. He's done a disappearing act. Naughty woodpecker. No, vanished. Well, let's see what else is out on this open plain. Now, Rand is wondering, how often do we see birds? Well, all the time. We're surrounded by birds. It's just trying to find birds close enough to show you with the camera. That is the trick. I'm just trying to see. Normally there should be an ashy tit or two on top of these little termite mounds in the grassland, but I'm not seeing any at the moment. Of course, when we want to see a bird... Oh, Dave spotted some. Well done, Dave. Oh, we have a fork-tailed dronga and a lesser blue-eared starling. Woodpecker's still hiding. I heard him tuk 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 again. And I'm pretty sure if we... Oh, what other birds are around? Now, Quentin is wondering, what is the biggest bird we have? Quentin, the biggest bird, let's think about this now. One of the biggest birds, I think the biggest bird we get here is going to be an ostrich, of course. There we go, that's the biggest bird we get. And of course, it's also a flightless bird. And there's a good chance of us seeing some ostriches out in these open areas as we keep moving through to see what other wonders the Masai Mara has. Oof, look at that rain coming in behind the elephant. Now, we've got quite a long way still to go today. And before we do that, Isaiah is wondering, what animals do we have here that you don't have? Well, Isaiah, I'm not sure where you're from, so I can't really answer that question unless I know that, so maybe Final Control can help me out with that. But I'm pretty sure elephant's one of them. And giraffe. There we go. So you are in North America. And so, Isaiah, we have giraffe, elephant, lions, leopards, cheetahs, Thompson's gazelle, Grant's gazelle, wildebeest, zebra, dik-dik, duiker, steenbok, warthog. What else am I missing? Jackal, bat-eared fox, Cape fox, silver fox, wild dogs, hyenas, brown hyenas, striped hyenas. We have a lot of animals. So most of the animals we get in Africa, you don't really get any that occur in America, apart from some of the birds. Grey herons and barn owls and cattle egrets are 3 species of bird that occur in Africa and in America. So there we go. All the African animals you would ever see in America have come across on a boat or an aeroplane, and they're not from there. They might have been bred there, but they're not originally from the Americas. Your indigenous animals are things like bears, wolves, pronghorns, white-tailed deer, moose, elk, black bears, brown bears, black bears, mountain lions, bobcats, coyotes. All those we don't have here in Africa, but you have in America. Now, we've got a long way to go, so we're going to keep moving on. And while we do that, that giraffe is just having a munch. So Johnson's wondering, why do giraffes have black tongues? Well, it's because they have increased melanin in their tongue, and what that does is when they're feeding, it stops their tongue getting sunburnt. So melanin is a darkening, a darker pigment in the skin. So when you look at a giraffe, like, where's the giraffe there for us, Darby? There we go. You see the dark patches in the giraffe's skin, and it has more melanin in, so that is what creates that darkening, and then the lighter skin has less, but the tongue has a lot because it's almost black to protect it from the sun. Okay, now we are going to keep moving. We've got a long way to go, and while we do that, let's go across to Taylor, who's driving around 2,500 miles from us in South Africa.
Brent, we are, and we have been outsmarted by an elephant. Actually, I'm not surprised that I've been outsmarted by an elephant. Anyways, I think our dear big elephant bull that we'd seen earlier after his mud bath decided that it was time for a snack, so he must have stopped in the middle of the block where we were driving round and round and tucked into a delicious bush. So we're going to try and search for something else, and I don't know what we're going to find next, but we're just going to keep driving around until something jumps out in front of us. So we're driving at the moment in a very cool area. We spent a lot of time doing circles and laps and loops around here looking for lions very early this morning. So I'm hoping that if we keep driving the same spots, eventually a lion is going to pop its head up from the long grass and say, hello, here we are. That's the goal. But unfortunately the animals don't always do what I want them to do. But they seem to be behaving quite nicely for Brent this afternoon. He seems to have a way with the Kenyan animals, which is quite nice. But we'll go and visit another big dam, which is actually not far from here at all. It's a big dam called Vuyatela Dam, and it's right in front of a lodge, and it's got the most beautiful view. There's always lots of birds, and because it's nice and hot, maybe we're going to see some different elephants doing a big mud wallow, because I saw some elephants this morning that weren't too far from there, and I thought that possibly they'd come out on that area. So that's what we're going to go and check, and if we don't find anything there, then we'll go and look for our friends the hippopotamus that live at Buffelshoek Dam, which is actually quite a drive away from us. It's all the way that way. It's probably about 3 or 4 miles away from where we are now. And we don't drive particularly quickly, as you can see, so it will take us some time. But we'll just check lots and lots of watering holes today until we do find something. I hope we get to see elephants, more elephants, maybe mums and all the little babies, because they're very sweet and very funny to watch. Let's have a look around here. Let's see what else we can find. Maybe I'll see if I can find a lion track for you. Yes. Now, Luke, you were wondering, why are elephants called bulls? So, Luke, you're a boy, and a bull is a boy elephant, basically. We actually call lots of different boy animals bulls, so even cows, the males are known as bulls. Impalas aren't known as bulls, though they're known as rams, but that's because they're not quite big enough to be a bull. We get kudu bulls, giraffe bulls, and all these different types of things. Now I'm going to unplug myself because I want to show you some lion footprints, and these are tracks that we saw this morning, so have a look over here. Craig, how's this footprint for you? If you look very carefully, I'm going to take a stick. You're going to follow very, very carefully though. This is the back part of the foot. There's 1, 2, 3 lobes, so like a cat track, they've got 3 little lobes at the back, and then here are the toes. And this is from a female. So this is from a lioness. So Luke, like you call a male elephant a bull, you don't call a male lion a bull. We just call them male lion. But you call the female lions lioness. And they definitely were moving through here this morning. So that's quite nice to see a big cat track. Let's get plugged in again. And we're edging our way closer and closer to the dam. We will eventually get there. The cats could be around there too. Now, Molly, you're wondering if it can sometimes take all day to find animals. Most certainly, sometimes you don't even get to see very much at all. Sometimes you can do a whole safari driving around for 3 hours, sometimes even longer, and you might just see a couple of birds or maybe just a few antelope. So it's not every single day that we get to see lions and leopards and elephants and giraffe. So that's why it's very special when we do see them, that we appreciate how lucky we are to see them, because safaris are really difficult. These animals in this area have got 8.5 million acres of land to move around on. So if they wanted to, they could walk right from Djuma and go all the way to the border of Mozambique, which is another country. It's not even in South Africa. So how crazy is that? So they can go even into Zimbabwe if they wanted to. There are many different spots that they can go. But let's carry on. We really aren't far from the dam, and I can't wait to show you. Well, we'll discover together if there's anything waiting there. Now, what I was hoping to see is, as we were driving along, I thought that we'd maybe see some elephant footprints, maybe some very fresh elephant dung, but I haven't seen any of that fresh stuff. Well, Ellie is not quite having luck with any mammals just yet, but she's got one of the funniest birds out in the bush, and she'd love to show you it.
One of the funniest birds that loves playing hide and seek and just going away just as soon as we finally manage to see it. I think maybe one of them is still playing the game. This particular bird that we are trying to have a look at, oh, there it is, it flew away. Let me just show you in the book. If you've ever seen The Lion King, this particular bird is very, very similar to Zazu. So it's actually like Zazu's long distant South African relative. Very big beak, and then once you'll see it, you'll see exactly why. I'm almost there. One more page. There we go. So we were looking at this pretty bird over here, the southern yellow-billed hornbill. So as you can tell, it gets the name because of this very, very large beak that it's got. It's very yellow, very prominent, and he was just busy up there in the tree, and I think he even had a bit of a kill when we first saw it, because he was busy beating the little insect on the branches of the trees, and then gloop, it just ate it. Yeah, I can still see them flying far away in the distance, but I don't think they're still a bit camera shy. Maybe the day hasn't really started for them yet. But in the meantime, we've got very, very cool little creatures down on the ground in front of us that are actually friendly enough to say hello. You see those tiny little things there? Almost there. That is a dwarf mongoose. So we have a few different species of mongoose around here, but this one, as you can tell from the name Dwarf, is the smallest one. And I think these two are just busy grooming each other. Nope, somebody just went shy. There we go, running around the mound. At least we've got a very brave one looking at us. So you see all of them, they are busy either sunning themselves, warming up a little bit, or they are just have been moving around looking for food all over. So we've seen them leaving the mound, and then they go back around us, and we can hear them around the vehicle, and then they go and then they go back in. And we got an itch there. Hello. So you see, the termite mound where they are is a very old termite mound where the termites live, and because the termites have left it, then the mongoose are taking care of it and they're using it as their house. So it's a very, very cool house, because underneath the ground there are a lot of tunnels and chambers and rooms where they can, have their babies and sleep in. So you see a very, very small creature, but look at all the little holes all around where they can go in. So if there were anything to come around they could be scared of, for example, if I were to jump off the vehicle, they would all of a sudden run very quickly back in there. And a bird of prey, maybe even a leopard, they will just go, all of them, very quickly in there and then just hide away. We're gonna see if maybe we can find the rest of the clan, but in the meantime, let's go to Taylor, who's got an animal that somewhat looks like the one we're looking at.
Look at these little guys that are sitting here on the damn wall. And Ellie, I hope you weren't calling me a monkey. I was actually climbing a tree today and the monkeys were looking at me, so perhaps they think I am one. Oh, Craig, look at the little baby Vervet monkey just to the right. Oh no, it's got a sore foot. Oh no, you can see that it's only running on 3 legs. Looks like it's hurt itself a little bit, but sometimes with vervet monkeys and with little animals, just as little children do, they like to play a lot. And sometimes they play a little bit too rough, and perhaps this little one was climbing too high in the tops of the tree, and then it fell down and maybe hurt itself, or some of the trees that they do climb have got lots and lots of thorns in them. So maybe it's just something small, like it's got a little thorn in its hand and it's a bit ana. Ana is a word that we would use, and it's actually an Afrikaans word, and that basically means ouch, or it's sore, it's really, really sore. But it is running back over to Mom, and I'm sure it's still playing with all the little ones. But it will be okay because the animals out here are very tough and very strong. But they are very, very funny. They're naughty, these animals, these vervet monkeys. So in this particular area, we really only see these grey little guys, and then we see the big chakma baboons. But let's see if we can try and get a little bit closer. Let's see if they're not going to run away from us. Oh, hang on, there's some behind us. Let's have a look at these ones. I think those guys are just going to run away, so we shall try and have a look this side. Here we go. Now, Christian, you're wondering if they have moms and dads. Well, that is a big dad just sitting in the tree over there. You can see him. He's very grey. Hello. There he is. Now, that's a boy. That's a boy monkey over there. And so yes, they do. They do have moms and dads, most certainly. However, it's normally mom that raises the little one. So the dads are there, but they really are around for protection. So these big boys will sit in the tops of the trees while everybody else plays around, and they're basically keeping an eye out for any predators. Now, for a monkey, there are many different animals out here that would eat a monkey. So that's what a predator is. It's something that would like to eat a beautiful animal like this. And those animals could be anything from a big eagle to a leopard, to a snake, to a hyena, to a caracal, to a serval. So many different animals. Even a lion would eat a monkey. So they've got to be very careful. And out here, all the animals can understand each other. And if they do spot a predator of some sort, they will start shouting. And a vervet monkey alarm call sounds something like this. Isn't that cool? That's me making that noise, of course. But they're a little bit scared of the cars every now and then. When they do see the vehicles coming around, they will try and run away. And that's because, not particularly in this area, but for many, many, many years in South Africa, they can be a huge problem because they come through to the lodges, even into your homes, and they raid the kitchens and they make a big mess and they destroy them. So in some areas, they actually will shoot the monkeys and the baboons. But like I said, here they are safe, they are protected, but they are always a little bit wary of humans. It's almost like an inbred fear. They know this, but they're not staying around for too long, and the other ones now have run away and hid up in the tree. So let's find something else. So Hampstead and Mrs. Farragon, you're wondering if we see many injured animals, and if we do see them, can we help them? So it's obviously very sad, of course. when you do see something that's not doing too well, like that little monkey that's got a sore hand. So out here, we won't help them unless it's an injury that was caused because of humans. So say if somebody was driving too fast and accidentally, say, hit an animal, or if an animal has a snare. A snare is a piece of wire. It's a very basic trap that people will use to catch things. So sometimes the local people will put them out to try and catch an antelope to eat for dinner, but you might have something like a wild dog or a lion getting caught up in it. Then yes, then we will help the animals. However, if it's just because it was being a bit silly and it fell out of a tree, or it was running too quickly and it fell into a termite mound, into a little burrow, and it hurt itself, we won't. But remember, natural selection is very important out here. It's essential that only the fittest and the strongest animals survive. Otherwise, it's not good for the gene pool. And even if it is an injured animal, just remember, it might seem sad to you, but it could provide a meal for another animal. So I always put it like this, just to put it in perspectives. For instance, say a mommy lion and her cubs were out walking around, and say mommy was maybe a little bit, she wasn't feeling too well that day. That could be a very easy snack for her to catch a little monkey like that, and that might be sad, but if she doesn't eat, it means that her babies can't eat either. So I always like to do it like that, so everything works in a circle out here in the bush, so it's important. Now this is where the elephants were this morning. Now I think that they went down into the drainage line just over here, where it's nice and cool, there's lots of nice green vegetation. So I think that's where they've gone. So let's carry on around here and see if we can maybe find those big grey objects. Hopefully they're not going to be hiding away from us this afternoon. Let's check. We'll just go very slowly down here because this is a bit of a bumpy road. And over the bumps we go. Ooh, and I can see some elephant tracks. I think they're here somewhere. Now, Craig and I are going to have to look very carefully to see if we can find these elephants. The bush is very thick over here. But let's go back across to Ellie and see what her plans are for the rest of the afternoon.
Well, our plan for the rest of the afternoon is to try and find some elephants. Seb and I were just discussing how we haven't seen elephants together. So we are going to try to make our way to some of the water holes or the dams around here, just to see if maybe we can find them. Wouldn't that be nice? It's very hot, so there's a very good chance that they'll be drinking somewhere around here. So we are hoping to find, you know, an elephant or two somewhere along the road, or somewhere in the pan. That would be quite nice. In the meantime though, we did manage to see another yellow-billed hornbill, of course, flying away, and we tried to stop for it again, but it just flew off. So I'm just gonna ignore them and pretend we don't really want to see them, and hopefully then they'll stick around and they won't move away from us. Graydon, we don't see snakes all that often. At this time of the year, if you have done snakes at school already, you know that snakes rely on the environment and on the sun to warm up and then start moving around. So at this time of the year, because it's starting to cool down quite a bit, then they're not as active as they normally can be. So I actually haven't seen my first snake on Djuma. I know a lot of the guys have seen them. I just haven't been lucky enough to see one yet. I wonder where they are. Or maybe just don't want to be my friends for the time being. But lots of different snakes around here. We've got some that are not venomous. We've got some that are very, very mean. And some of them that are, you know, just okay to go around. Eagles, John. Yes, we also have eagles. Like I was showing you guys in the book earlier, we've got quite a wide range of different eagles. Some of them are this big. Then there's one, the Marshall eagle, that's about this big. Then we've got smaller, not eagles, but raptors, birds of prey, that are maybe about this big. So it's always very nice to find them. Normally perching on a tree somewhere, but sorry, I just want to go down this road. Should have chosen the other spot, but I kind of missed it. So if I see an eagle or a small bird of prey or a snake, I'll be sure to point it out. Haven't seen any of them around just yet, but I'm sure we'll get there. See, there's another little dam around here, but no Ellie's drinking, no snakes and no eagles. We'll carry on. I'm sure we'll find some in the short future, not so distant future. Ooh, we've had some trees around. Molly, we've got a few different animals that come out during the day and during the night. A lot of the times the animals that will come out during the night, those ones are the lions or the leopards. I have seen them move during the day often, but a lot of the times, and also the hyenas, they like to move when it's not as hot, because also as it gets darker, they can see better than us, or than animals that move during the day, so it's a lot easier for them if they have to go hunting. It's a lot easier for them to have a bit of an advantage on some of the antelope that move around during the day. The eagles, for example, they tend to move around only during the day and not during the night. The owls, on the other hand, they tend to move during the day, or they tend to fly during the day rather than, you know, moving or walking. And then what else? Elephants, they are more active during the day than during the night, but they also, the same as buffalo, we can see them moving around during the night, because a lot of the animals, they don't sleep like what we do. They don't normally sleep during the day or during the night, the whole night. They'll sleep for like a few hours at a time. But I just want to show you guys over here, in our search for elephant, we have managed to find some beautiful elephant tracks. So let me just show you guys quickly. Just need to unplug myself from here and make sure that I don't lose, you know, my mic pack in the process. Right, then we go around here. So if you guys can see around here, this is this one, maybe this one, that one.
Let's try yeah, those ones are perfect.
This one's
not to your, yeah, those ones.
Okay, good, because it's the closest one. So all of this around here, this is the foot of an elephant. And if you can see all these little ridges, all these little things around, if you look at your hand, if you look at your fingers, you'll see all your fingerprints and everything else, and it's got a different pattern. It's the same with an elephant. So if we were to put them on, you know, a piece of paper and put different elephants to walk at the same time, we would see that every single elephant foot is different. And if you learn what a particular animal's foot looks like, then you can also learn exactly which animal it is that it's walking here. I'm feeling slightly hopeful. There is a waterhole not too far from where we're going, and you can see there's a foot here. I'm just going to try and walk like an elephant. Hopefully I'll manage. So if you guys have a look, just look how small my foot is in comparison to the elephant. And then the next step is here, and then here, and then here. Whew! I think this is quite quite an exercise. And this one that we're looking at, so the elephants will go in 4 feet. This is the back foot. And this one over here that I've almost pretty much stepped on, this one that's got a more round figure, you see it's not as long as this one over here. This is the front foot. So for all of the animals, especially the ones that have very, very big heads like the elephants, if you can imagine massive ears, some of them have got very big tusks, and then, you know, how do I do? The trunk that goes around here, then obviously a lot of the times it's a lot heavier, so they need to have something very, very heavy, something that's bigger to be able to carry all the weight that they've got. But we'll see if maybe we can carry on along this road. We've got nice tracks in front of us, and I'm hoping that they'll lead us straight onto the elephant's weir. All right. Must be tired, I must say. They walk in quite a stretch. I felt that maybe their step was a bit closer. Ah, yes, you are right. I haven't plugged myself in. I got so excited I forgot. All right. It was a wonderful having you guys along. Hopefully you'll carry on watching us in your spare time. And we'll see you guys in the next, or we're gonna carry on our wonderful safari.
Ah, hello. Welcome back, everybody. I hope that you've all sent through your questions. We've just arrived at Buffelshoek Dam, as you can see, and it's quite nice. There's lots of things here. There's hippos, there's some Birchall starlings, and I finally managed to find my elephant. There's the bird I was telling you about as well. Hello, little bird. Little Birchall starling, obviously come down. Are you going to have a bath for us? Yes, please. Please show us how you have a bath in the water. No? Have you gone camera shy? Perhaps it has seen something else. But anyways, let me show you the elephant, because the elephant actually wants to be seen. It's just over here. It's a one-tusk wonder elephant. It's a very young bull, and he has only just got one tusk. And he's all on his own, feeding on the not-so-nice grass. Doesn't look like very delicious grass. It's quite dry. Are you going to eat that, boy? Now, I think he has had a drink already. You can see the tip of his trunk is quite wet, and I did see that his lips had a darker tinge to them. So he has had a sip of water, but perhaps he'll go back in again. Who knows, if we are patient enough, and maybe he stirs a little bit with the hippos that are in the dam too. But I wonder, I don't actually know if he's even eating. He just sort of seems to be investigating with his trunk at the moment. Maybe he's just having a little siesta, which is also not very uncommon. And to see elephants doing on a hot day like today, just finding some shade and just taking it easy. It is Friday afternoon after all. Hello, boy, where are you going to go? Oh, hello, hippopotamus. That was the hippo that you heard making that noise. I think it was feeling a little bit sort of neglected, I suppose you could say, because I've got all my attention focused on the elephant. We'll get to you just now, hippos. Just you be patient, you lot. Should we have a look at them? Let me reverse as well, Craig, and make it a better angle for you. Let's do this. Hello, hippos. Right, now don't any of you go underwater, because you've now got my attention. Please splash about and do all sorts of wonderful things. Remember, this is of course a live and interactive safari. If you have just joined us, welcome, and hashtag Safari Live with all of your questions. And there are only 3 hippos in the dam today. If I'm not mistaken, I think I saw 4 yesterday. So obviously one of the hippos didn't come back. Maybe it was a young bull. There's the big bull that just popped his head out the water and is snorting water out of his nostrils. Hello. You're a lucky boy, aren't you? You've got 2 young lasses at your side, and they're quite lovely. Now, the end game is, of course, to go back down towards Chitwa Dam this afternoon, and hopefully we will find some lions a little bit later too. Ellie, however, has not found an elephant or a hippopotamus. She has got some kudu.
I think we've actually found all of the kudu that are currently on Djuma. I can count at least 10 of them, all different ages, all moving around, but it's quite interesting is we've got a few females and obviously this very, very majestic bull walking away. Very nice big horns. If you see those spiral twisting horns are very diagnostic of the kudus, very, very beautiful, and it's easy to then recognize them thanks to this particular attribute that they've got. I think this particular male, so kudus tend to breed during winter, the beginning of winter, so that the females give birth at the beginning of the rainy season, where there clearly is a lot more grass and that's more palatable and they can produce a lot more milk and then raise their offspring in a way that's probably a lot quicker and healthier. So I'm sure this boy is just hanging around all these females, just looking to see which one of them is receptive and which one he could potentially mate with in the next few days, in the next few weeks, just so that he can carry on passing on his genes. I think we're gonna try. They were a bit skittish, so I'm just gonna try and approach them a bit more, see if maybe we can have a second look, because he is a very old guy. Very pretty horns that he's got. Whoop. If I put this into gear, that would be wonderful, wouldn't it? Alright. Let's see if they'll let us come slightly closer. I am hoping they are, because they are quite pretty. And it was wonderful to see so many of them together, because normally, as I'm sure if you've been watching the drives for quite a while, we normally see 1, maybe 2 to 4 together, the females, but this is quite a large group. For kudus at least. Let's see. Let's see if we can get closer to them. Ah! See all the little ones flashing the white on their tails? I'm sure the presence of the males has got, you know, everyone in a bit of an agitated mood. Nobody really knows what's happening, and lots of different things happening, so I'm sure this is the first time for some of these calves that they've seen a male just trailing them all around. Alright, let's just carry on approaching slowly. I'm sure they're gonna let us see them again. I think maybe this is going to be our best attempt at a view, because they're all moving away and there's not quite a road towards where they're heading for the time being. Do you see? So he's busy sniffing the females, and again he's just trying to process the information, all the hormones that are being left in the air by the females or that they leave in their urine, to try and figure out which one of them is actually receptive and which one he can try and mate with. Beautiful, that beautiful male in the glowing. We're gonna see if we can maybe try and have a second look at this Kudu. We're gonna try to reposition ourselves, but in the meantime, let's go to Taylor and the one-tusked elephant.
We're still with my one-tusk wonder, and I'm trying to make friends with him. Hello, big boy. Well, he's not particularly large in size. He's quite young. He's less than about 20 years old, probably around 15 or so. Hello, young man. Yes, you don't even have to worry about us. We don't want to give you any trouble, and I know you don't particularly want to give me any trouble either, seeing as though I'm sitting on the edge of the dam. So I think that you and I could be the greatest of friends. Yes, you have a taste of that lovely... What are you even eating? Are you eating wattle or a sickle bush? I cannot tell what he is eating. No, I think he's eating some wattle. Is that very nice? Hello, big boy. Now, I'm just being very kind to him because he was making some strange sounds just a moment ago. And he is all on his own. He's not giving us any trouble at all. He's actually a little bit nervous of us. It's okay, young man. He's obviously quite comfortable because he walked right past us. He just flared his ears just slightly. But I think he was worried, more concerned that we were going to make a sudden move on him. But don't worry, big man. I love elephants. I love your kind. So I won't bother you at all. We might actually just let him carry on wandering down the road and going about his day, as I'm sure he has only just recently been kicked out of the herd. He looks like he's quite lost. Don't you think, Craig? He looks like he doesn't know what to do with himself. He does look a bit dozy. Craig says he looks a little bit dozy. So we'll just let him carry on. And I hope that he manages to find some other young bulls that are in a similar situation, and they can form a bachelor herd. And I'm sure he'll be a lot more comfortable in a scene like that. Well, with a new crew, because his old family doesn't want him anymore. Probably find he got a bit too naughty, a little bit too boisterous, and decided that... Well, he didn't decide it, but the adults would have decided that that was enough. Bye, little elephant. We'll let him carry on. Let's have a look at the hippos. We'll also just try not to drive off of the dam wall. That'll be our first goal before we even get to the hippos. I did also see a heron. Actually, I've actually just lied to you. I'm so sorry. I should be Pinocchio. My nose should get longer and longer every time I tell nonsense stories. But Craig spotted the heron. I had absolutely nothing to do with it. And I love watching heron fish. I don't know about any of you, or catching frogs. I don't necessarily have to catch fish. But he's just all the way down there, just in the corner, just beyond the hippos. Now, earlier today on the sunrise safari, you actually got to see some baby... Was it this morning that we saw baby crocodiles with Brent? I'm not making that up, am I? I think we did see baby crocodiles with Brent, and one of the questions this morning we had was, what animal do you think has the best childhood? And I've actually been thinking about it the whole day. And I think an animal that I wouldn't want to be is a crocodile. A fully grown crocodile, if I could arrive as a fully grown crocodile, that would be okay. One that's sort of over 5 meters. But the life of a little crocodile is quite tough. And the reason why I'm talking about all of this is because something like a heron, or even a saddle-billed stork, or one of the other storks, would find a little juvenile crocodile to be quite a tasty snack. So like I said, they don't just catch fish or frogs or tadpoles and things like that. They'll actually eat smaller reptiles too if they come close enough. But the hippos won't. The hippos won't eat either of those. They're just the herbivores feeding on grass. Look at it, standing dead still, almost invisible. If you don't know that it's there, your eye sort of passes straight over it. Hello. Well, it's very, very peaceful here at the dam, as you can see. There isn't really too much coming down just yet, but I reckon in the next hour or so we'll definitely see quite a bit of activity around the watering holes, and I think we're going to start venturing down towards the next dam, and that dam is going to be Chitwa. Brent is still driving around in Kenya. I'm not sure what he's got to show you, but I'm sure it's going to be something very exciting.
So, which one are we on? The furthest to the right there, yes, okay. So then, there's the next female in between.
What's up?
Hi!
I saw your video on YouTube.
Ah, well, we're actually live now. We're live right now.
That's awesome.
Well, welcome, enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yes. Safari Live. So there we go, we've got some people joining us in this sighting, and we are live with the Angama Pride from the Mara Triangle in Kenya.
Did you spot any rhino?
Not yet, no. So there we go. So some of them look quite hungry, although they are quite difficult to see because they are quite far off and they are lying down at the moment. Remember, hashtag Safari Live if you've got any questions for us. It'd be great to hear from you. Now, I'm pretty sure these girls have left their cubs in the Lugga. The Lugga is like a stream or a dry riverbed. Well, it's not so dry at the moment, but they've left the cubs probably about 1.5 kilometers from here, and they've moved off probably to get some rest from the cubs and also to maybe go find a meal or two. Now, there, you hear that tit 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 tit, Dave. You see that little thing sitting on the top of the grass there. That is actually a new bird species for me as well. And while we were waiting, I managed to identify it, and it is one of those tricky little ones, and quite often referred to as an LBJ, a little brown job. That is a stout cysticula. Now, the only way I could do that, I saw he had a little rufous crown on his head, and the primaries on his feathers, and then I went through the sticulars and I saw, and he's very small, but he's quite well built, so that's why I think he's called stout. But it's the call that gives it away. So that it's got 2 calls, and that is a stout cysticula. Now, according to my map, my Kenyan bird map, it doesn't occur here, but according to my big book, it does. So, and they are in long grasslands from 1,200 meters to 2,300 meters. So this is absolutely perfect stout cysticula country. I'm very excited. That's a new bird from my list. And the lions are being lazy. And being lazy in an area we can't get very close to them, unfortunately. But if they do move, we will scoot around. I think they are waiting a little bit. Now, I was hoping to find you a pectoral patch cysticula, which is one of the more common little cysticula species here, but instead we found one that is a bit more rare, which is quite exciting. Well, probably not more rare, just not well documented in this area. What have you seen, lady? Hopefully you've spotted a warthog that's running in our direction. So I guess, how far would you say that is, Dave? Half a K.
Yeah.
Easy, 500 meters. Very far. And if you get any wobbles, it's because of me and my ADD, and Dave has zoomed as far as he can. And of course, in my excitement at seeing a stout cysticula, I might have bumped the car a little bit. Now, the wonderful thing about it being in the Mara is when you do stop like this, and I mean, I spotted those lions from quite a long time ago, and they are very far away, but we're going to wait here to see if they do anything. While we do that, let's go see how Ellie is doing back on Djuma.
Well, we tried coming and checking on the hyena den, however it seems our little cubs are still a bit shy and probably not warm enough or too early for them to come out, so unfortunately none of them were outside. But I wanted to stop and show you this beautiful tree, which is just pretty much on the entrance road to the hyena den. It looks very much like an upthorn. I'm sure you guys have heard about this particular type of acacia plenty of times. Looks very much like it, has got leaves that look very much like it. However, it is not an upthorn. I want to see if maybe I can, without hurting everything that I have, if I can get some of the leaves, because the leaves are a dead giveaway. However, I think I'm a bit too small for this. Let's see if maybe I can find some around here. Nope. Right, well... Nope, not you. Alright, well... I'm gonna leave it for you guys to guess, so if you can figure out what tree looks very much like an upthorn, has got leaves very similar like an upthorn, but is not an upthorn, please do use the hashtag Safari Live and let us know what you think. I will give you a clue, however, it is a species of acacia, just not the nigrescens. Another very, very pretty, very, very similar one. Alright.
Wait. Let me just give them a close-up.
No problem. The leaves are the dead giveaway. You see very thin leaves. Thin leaves. And we've got the hooks of the thorns that you can see around there. Perfect. I was actually thinking about this particular species of tree recently, because I was wondering the other day, you see, I see them from a distance and I always call them an upthorn, but I'm not paying attention, so are they really? So I was very happy, you know, as you're thinking about things, to then find this particular one, that it's not that. So we're gonna carry on trying to check twin dams, see if maybe there's pretty much any elephant down there. And then hopefully we'll find another one of these beautiful trees on the way. So again, very much like an upthorn, but not an upthorn. Very happy to see you. Okie dokie. Let's go around this side and have the sun for once not in our faces. See our beautiful shade of the antenna right in front of us. And carry on. I wonder. Twin dams, I think it's a good call. Let's see if maybe we can see any tracks. I know Hosanna and Shangile have been spending quite a lot of time on Little Gowrie, so we're not far from the boundary. There are just actually across the road. So, and I know her tracks, or we think her tracks, were seen somewhere around Treehouse Dam this morning. However, we didn't have any luck, and it's all areas that is very much in between the two reserves and our boundary. So it's always good to, I know she spent a lot of time in there hunting terrapins, and she's always seen roughly there, and so is Hosanna. So I'm hoping that maybe we'll see some fresh tracks, something that maybe we just didn't spot this morning. Again, it's a new safari, so our opportunities are pretty much endless. Let's see. Oh, well, first Impala of the day that hasn't run away from us, which is always good to see. I'm feeling quite happy right now. Let's see what else we can spot. Let me go around this way. We've got some animals down the road. Whoop. I don't think I can... Alrighty, here we go. Some warthogs. And they look very happy with life because they're all looking very, very dark. I'm sure they have been mud wallowing. So let's have a closer look at them before they run off and dash into the bush in perfect warthog fashion. Hello guys, or guy? I can't see, I thought there were two, but maybe I'm mistaken. Let's go forward. There we go, just the one. Still a bit hard to spot, but I think he's all the way down there. I know there are a few different mud wallows all around. I'm sure maybe he's either coming from one or heading to one. Let's see if maybe we can catch him on the next mud wallow, because I think he's dashed off now. Whoop. All right, they are not here. Nice big terminalia that's been pushed down by Ellies, I'm sure. And I can hear the call of a magpie somewhere in the distance. And a squirrel. Alright, we're gonna carry on missioning all the way to Twin Dam, seeing if a bigger waterhole is gonna attract bigger animals. But in the meantime, let's go over to Taylor and see what she's got hiding in between the bushes.
Well, I'm just trying to find it for Craig, but I've got some Shelley's franklins moving through the grass at the moment. There we go, bottom left-hand corner. There is one. And this might be a new bird for some of you. You go center of your screen, Craig. You've got it. You can zoom straight in. There we go. You just should be able to see it appear. It's very, very, very camouflaged. It's just moving off to the right now. But there is an entire family of Shelley's franklin here. Now, that's something that we don't get to see all the time. So let me know what number bird this is on your list. Hashtag Safari Live. It'll be great to hear from you. I know like I said, there's a lot of you that have just started up bird lists, which is really great. And I think this could be the first group of Shelley's franklins I've actually seen since I've been here. I want to try and find you a better example of one. Let me see if I go back a bit. If I can find some. There were some moving in this lovely golden grass. Come, little birdies, come out so we can see you nicely, please. They were quite relaxed, but they've now since moved off a bit further. Let me see if I poke my nose in here. Let's have a look in here. Now this is the difficult part because this grass is so long. Now we've got to wait until we see movement. So we're just basically looking now until we can see some moving around. Oh, they're here. I can hear them. Let's see if I can see one. Let me go forward again. Where did they all go so quickly? There must have been about 20 of them moving through here. Oh, there they are. They're hiding from us. Don't hide from us, little birds. Look at them. Look, look, look. There's a perfect example of one. Can you see it, Craig? Let me to point it out to you with my hand. There they are to the top right. There we go, you can just see little heads popping out. Now they're slightly sort of different from the crested franklins and the coqui franklins. Look at that white throat that they have. Isn't that beautiful? There we go. Now in case you were a little bit uncertain, there are the Shelley's franklins. How cool is this? But just as the rest of the franklins and spurfowls are, they are exceptionally gregarious. This could be mom and dad with their little ones though. And we haven't seen too many, and what I do want to do is I actually want to play you a beautiful sound. They have got quite a lovely call. Let me do that. Right, let me play this call for you. Ready to hear it? I'm not talking to you birds. Don't you start calling now. I was just telling everybody how lovely your call is. Oh, they've actually come out now. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Look at them all coming here. Now that was the last thing that I wanted to do. I didn't think that they would respond to me very well. Craig, let me point for you. Over there. It's so difficult to see them. I think if you go up a little bit. There they go. Moving off to the left of the screen. And there they go. That was quite funny, wasn't it? Anyways, our little birds, I don't want to disturb them too much more. We'll let them carry on with their afternoon of foraging. And well, we're going to go from something that can fly quite high up in the sky to something that sees and is quite tall with Ellie.
Quite tall and very well hidden. We can almost not see its head and its neck. It's all tucked away in between the branches of the acacias and everything else it's busy feeding on. You can see from there, it's just that great camouflage for such a tall animal that's actually the same size as the tallest tree that it's feeding upon. Very nice and well hidden. We're just having a look at the different pattern that it's got. Alright, and all the way up there. Sorry guys, I just wanna get a hold of the radio quickly. Tag someone, Twin Dam Roads, do you mind if I come and join you? Thank you very much for thinking about it. Alright. So it seems like the guys are giving me a hard time and they're being quite funny. We've got this beautiful giraffe over here, but it seems like our search for lions was gonna eventually lead us to one of the males sleeping in one of the water holes. We're not too far from here and he's quite static, so I think maybe let's just enjoy the view of this pretty giraffe now that it's looking at us, and then we'll definitely make our way in that general direction to see which one of the boys is all the way over there. Look at that pretty nose. We're looking at what seems to be a very old male giraffe. You see, if we look at the horns right all the way over there, very, very distinctive for a male giraffe is just no hair on the top and very, very thick horns that are also called ossicones. And why they lose their hair and why they've got such strong ossicones is because when they fight for the right to probably mate with the female or for dominance or hierarchy, they normally do what it's called neck wrestling, and they use their necks and their horns to hurt each other and fight against each other. So it's always a good thing. The heavier the head and the harder their horns are, then the harder they can hit their opponents and probably get the mating rights. Oh look, seems like he's got maybe a bit of an old wound in the neck. Sometimes there are different species of moths that will actually, I think it's moth, I can't remember, no, it's actually a fly, I'm lying, that will go and feed and they'll lay their eggs inside of the hair follicles of the giraffe, and then as they start doing that, then it gets very itchy for the giraffe, so they tend, as they start crashing, obviously they start losing some hair. But it could also be the case that it's an old wound, maybe from fighting with another male, and then it's just pretty much healed up, but in the spot where obviously the wound was, the hair hasn't grown back yet. I can't believe just, you see there's another one there. Mario X, you'd like to know how giraffes sleep. Well, standing up is pretty much a good call. I have, however, seen them lying down, but when they lie down, they'll just bend their legs, but their neck will still be up straight, because that is their relaxed position for their neck. Look at that, all the way up there. So just imagine it with its legs bent and then just sleeping on the floor. If not, standing up, they always do it. However, giraffe are some of the animals that sleep the least out here in the bush. It's been recorded that they can sleep as little as maybe 20 minutes a night, and they just spend the rest of the day feeding around and moving very lazily. So between 20 minutes to 4 hours, I think it's what the latest studies point giraffes can sleep during the day. So not in good old fashioned like a lion, like the ones that we've been seeing lately that can just sleep throughout the day and then just enjoy, you know, a day-long nap. See how interesting it is when they feed. That is one of my favorite things about giraffes. It's not eating the branch, it's not really biting the branch off, it's just wrapping its tongue around the leaves of the branch and then whoop, and then it pulls. They are, I believe, their closest relative is actually an animal called the okapi that looks between a zebra and a horse, and a giraffe. But initially, when they started doing studies, Jennifer, because you were asking, they believe that giraffes were actually related to camels in full fashion, if I'm not mistaken. In Afrikaans, they're actually called a cameel part, which is a blend between two words: the camel for obviously the camel for the camel, and then the part for the leopard. Because a lot of people believe that they're very similar to leopards because of the different prints that they've got on their body. Very pretty, very well hidden, isn't he? Our beard, yes, when we were looking at the ossicons, they're normally not very straight and in between. Obviously, as you can imagine, as they grow up fighting, then they start breaking them, or little micro fractures that cause them not to be in the center or in the right place, if we can put it that way. So a lot of the times this is why they won't have them perfectly centered. I don't think anything is just perfectly centered in nature, but it's sometimes a bit more obvious maybe on female giraffes, because you'll see that their ossicons actually point towards each other and they're a lot more slender, a lot thinner. Right. Sorry guys, I've just got someone behind me, so I just want to move the vehicle around just so that we can give them a bit of leeway so that they can carry on. So let me just move around here, and then we'll go back to where we were to see the giraffe. But look at that, isn't that amazing? Just hiding between the bushes, you would never know that there's a giraffe over there, just hiding. Hello. Look at that. Always amazing that they're always hiding. Alright, let's go further back, see if maybe we can have a look. James, well done. Black monkey thorn it was. That is the acacia that looks like an upthorn but is not an upthorn. So well done. I do think that is one of the ones that the giraffe is feeding upon. Oh no, I'm completely mistaken. That seems to be a bush willow. So I'm very mistaken in that regard. But it's just busy feeding. So yes, black monkey thorn. Very well done. That wasn't really an easy one. So highly impressed right now. Right, we're gonna leave our friend the giraffe, who's clearly having a feast. Not too far away from a sleeping lion. So let's just see where the road takes us. Hopefully... Alright, let's maybe... The girls at FC want to have a second look at the giraffe. I think they've been missing them quite a bit. So let's just give them a second look, just because they asked for it. I think maybe they have a bit of a crush on this boy. Alright, seems like the girls have had enough of this beautiful boy and they're happy to join us, seeing Taylor and her adventure all the way to Chitwa.
We're actually on Chitwa now. We are making our way towards the Styx Lions, and I'm not actually too sure where they are. I know they're just off Chitwa driveway somewhere, so hopefully we're going to be able to find them. But what's quite nice is that we are able to go straight in. I'm hoping that we bump into Shanae. She actually called us into the sighting, and then she can just point it out very, very quickly whereabouts it is. But we'll just keep following this road for as far as we can, and then theoretically we should find these lions somewhere here. Now I know that there's also a Birmingham boy lurking about on Chitwa, so we might get quite lucky and have an opportunity to see him too. I don't know which Birmingham it is, and I'm not sure where it is either, so I would definitely like to bump into Shanae so we can have a little chat about what's going on at the moment. Let's carry on around the bend. I don't even know if we are on Chitwa driveway. I'm sure that this is it though. It's a big road, and as far as I remember it was quite a large road. Right, Let's go around here. It's lovely, hey Craig? It's so smooth. No corrugations. This is a beautiful road. What tracks are on the ground? Don't know. Maybe some hyena tracks moving around here from earlier this morning. Okay, let's keep scanning. So I'm going to look like this, well, left to right, just making sure that I don't drive right past the lines. And trust me, it's easier said than done. It's quite often where you drive past animals and just not even know that they're there. Okay, well, I see lots of might be in here. There's a very prominent 2-track going at the sign, so I think we're on the right track. Let's see. Craig, tell me if you see a big fluffy cat. I'm quite excited. I haven't seen the Styx Pride now. I think I saw them a couple of times. Did I see them last cycle? No, it could have even been the time before, the cycle before that. So I'm going to try and get as much lion activity in as possible before they all decide to disappear again. Let's just check. What's down over here? No. There's a lion belly. Now where's the rest of them? The lion that I'm talking about is just in the bush over there, but I don't want to drive over the top of anybody because I don't know where the carcass is. I believe that they were feasting upon a carcass somewhere. Where are they? Oh, Ari's behind me, so he might be able to direct us a little bit better. I'll pull off over here. Ah, I can hear them. They're on the other side. Okay. Let's try do this. Let's go the scenic way around. I can see leaves rustling. I can hear growling. It must mean that the little cubs are feasting upon their delicious meal. So we'll go all the way around this side just to give them a bit of room. We'll let that lioness rest. Right, let's have a look at these lions very quickly because they are feeding on the carcass. Here they are. Look at this. There they are, just in there hiding underneath that bush willow. And that's a very, very, very good spot to have a little carcass. Listen, listen. There's some very unhappy little cubs in there that are obviously fighting over the carcass. You might be able to hear their growls. Isn't that cute? And you can just see one of the tiny little cubs just sitting a little bit to the right. And we will try and get a bit better position at some point too. There they are. But what we're going to do now is I'm going to see if I can't get us a better spot so that we can have a view. But it seems as though Brent has found some of the larger mammals in Kenya.
Okay, welcome. We found a wonderful herd of Ellies. The lions went to sleep, but these Ellies are on the move towards the escarpment. I think they're actually just going to go up into this lovely green grass that's up ahead. I'm just going to move the vehicle a little bit so we can keep up with them. Such a cool little herd of elephants. Holding on, Dave. Remember, hashtag Safari Live if you'd like to ask us any questions. We're coming to you live from the Masai Mara in Kenya. And I'm just going to have to swing around, Dave. Hold on. Hold on, everyone. Hi. We're getting there. The Ellies were walking quite fast. Okay, let's get up to the road so we can catch them crossing, and you'll be able to see that lovely green I was talking about up ahead here, and it's where the water from the escarpment seeps down and creates this very lush environment, and that the elephants really do like. Here we go. Hi guys. Oh, I'm popping out of my turret. Sorry if my shoulder or other part of my body gets in the way. There we go.
Little baby getting up.
Oh, look at the little ones trying to climb up. There we go. Well done. Lovely relaxed herd. And I said that it's just really he doesn't want to get his feet wet. It is quite nippy. Oh, he's got a short tail as well. He might have had a run-in with hyenas or lions. Okay, I'm going to swing across, Dave. Sorry guys. Let's just make sure. There, I get out of the way. Here we go. Lovely little herd. 3 young babies with it. Now, there, I've seen this herd before. There we go. There's a female that's got one very long tusk, and she's quite distinctive. She's only got one tusk. There she is. There. So I've seen this herd a few times before. And they're just stopped into this lovely lush green grass. They're stopping for a drink in where the little stream where the water comes down from the mountain. Oh, look at the little one. He's trying to get there. He got some. He got the tip of his trunk wet. Still learning how to master the art of the trunk. Oh, gorgeous. I love all those sounds. And there's quite a bit of a wind as well. Here's that single-tusked elephant I was talking about a bit earlier. Hi, Bobby. And Bobby's wondering how old do I think the babies are. Well, they're all quite close in age. I'd say this one on the far left's the youngest. That one there. I'd say probably 2 months, 2.5, 3 months at the excuse me, at the oldest. Oh, quickly, sorry. Well, oh, they're going to disappear behind the other elephant. But there were 2. They were walking side by side, and you could see the age difference in the other 2 babies. There we go. The one with the short tail is a bit younger, maybe about the same, maybe a month or 2 older than that first one, and then that other little one's probably about 5 months old. So when they are below a year old, they can still fit under their mom's bellies, and after a year old, they can't. So all 3 of those little ones are still younger than a year, with that one there behind, right directly behind mom, probably being the oldest of the 3 small calves in this herd. Here's a little one. Oh, it's a brave little one. But, of course, lots of protection close at hand with the herd around. Little girl. So there we go. You can see they've moved straight where I predicted they'd move onto this lush green grass. And now they've slowed down their march and to feed. And we suddenly got quite a chilly wind. And so I come out of nowhere. I might have to put my jersey on shortly. Here's a little one playing King of the Termiteria. And it's old Stompy with a little short tail. And it's actually, now that we've noticed, it's got a little short tail, and it looks to be a little girl. So I didn't quite catch that. Leslie was wondering, does a fly hurt the elephants? I think it must be a tsetse fly. The tear fly. I think it must be a tsetse fly that we're talking about. They can bite in the soft points, but an elephant's skin is really too thick. The only thing that tsetse fly seems to hurt at the moment is Brent. And they haven't bitten Dave.
Not once.
That's because you're not driving. And I literally got one bit me this morning on the bottom of my foot, which is possibly the worst place to be bitten, apart from your knuckles. Earlobes is also really, so your ears are a really painful place to be bitten by a tsetse fly. But I've only had 4 bites in a month. So I wouldn't call this bad tsetse country. I've been to bad tsetse country where you get 4 bites in less than a second. Yes, no, they're not nice. Dave was running around trying to hit one with a water bottle earlier today inside the car. Dave is quite paranoid. I can't wait for the day he gets bitten and I can cackle at him.
Not going to happen.
It's going to happen. I'm going to take you down south to the Tanzanian border where there are lots of tsetse flies tomorrow. But isn't this just the most peaceful scene? And see how they've immediately, as they've got onto this nutrient-rich grass, they've stopped, and they're taking advantage of a lovely late evening snack. Hi, Bobby. Bobby's wondering whether elephants are seasonal breeders or do they breed all year round. They have the ability to breed all year round. Now, it also really depends on where you are in Africa and the females' estrus cycles and the males' must cycles. So you will find that there will be sort of a peak, and it can change with seasons and rainfall and all that type of stuff, to when the most females are in estrus, you'll have the most males in must, but other than that, they breed throughout the year. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else beyond them up on the hill. I'm just going to get my far lookers. Now, for those of you who know Afrikaans or Dutch, the word for a pair of binoculars is a far looker, a verkyker. So I'm going to look in my far lookers to see what I can see up on the hill. And there we go. Far lookers are very important when you are in the Mara, because quite often you are looking at vast distances. So, most important thing you grab when you go on safari in the morning is your far lookers. And I just see there's quite a nice herd of zebra up there, Dave. Can you see them?
Towards the base.
Yeah. No, a little bit lower. They've come down from the mountain, come a little bit to the right. There we go. See, I wouldn't have seen them if I didn't have far lookers. So one thing we've noticed about the zebras, there's been a lot of zebras around camp and on top of the escarpment, and as we get further and further out of the sort of rainy season, I've noticed the zebras are moving further and further down and closer and closer, or not closer and closer, but closer to the Mara River. Now, of course, you have zebras that will migrate with the great migration of wildebeest, and you have other zebras that are resident. But it seems that during the wet season, they spend a lot more time up on the escarpment, and are only now really slowly coming down to the base and to the valley around the Mara River. And you get those very lazy buffaloes.
A very lazy one.
Under next to the shepherd's tree. Look at that. There's a very lazy buffalo. Look at that, fast asleep, that one buffalo there. Now, he's just fast asleep, but it sounds like Taylor's found something that is going to be asleep for a very long time. Let's go find out what.
Well, it seems as though the adults are sleeping, Brent, but the little ones are definitely tossing and turning underneath this bush willow. But unfortunately, the angle that we got is not the greatest, and they are hiding under the bushes for the moment. I actually can't even make out what they killed, but all I can see is big round bellies, and that makes me very, very happy to see little tiny fluff balls with full bellies, and you can just hear them every now and then. What I might try and do, Craig, should we see if we can get a better... I actually think this is going to be the best spot for the moment. I would like to do a little bit of investigating, but I have a suspicion that if I go any further around, I'm actually just going to have a worse off view. So we're sitting here. Now, I have not seen the Styx cubs for quite some time, so maybe you can all help me out. You saw them with Ellie this morning, and what I would like to know is how many cubs are still around. Because the last time that I was here, I think I remember only seeing 5 or